Robert was a genius, not a trading genius, at least not yet, but a real-world genius. A senior manager at a top consulting firm, a man who understood the intricate workings of trading platforms better than some of the engineers who built them. He was meticulous, disciplined, and he had a perfect plan. For 4 consecutive days, his plan worked flawlessly. He executed 10 winning trades out of 12, each one a testament to his sharp intellect and careful preparation. He felt it, that intoxicating cocktail of confidence and control, the feeling that he had finally cracked the market's code. He felt invincible. Then came Friday. It didn't start with a bang, but with a whisper of a mistake, a single errant hotkey press that put him in a losing position he never intended to be in. A small cut, easily manageable, but then the bleeding wouldn't stop. The red on his screen grew brighter, more vibrant, mocking his intelligence and his perfect plan. The calm, rational consultant began to fade, replaced by a rising tide of panic and frustration. And then, a voice echoed in the quietest, most primal part of his mind. It's a voice every trader knows and fears, the one that emerges when logic fails and emotion takes over. It wasn't a shout. It was a seductive, destructive whisper that said, "Fuck it. Let's go." In the next 30 minutes, the civil war in Robert's mind was over, and the wrong side had won. He transformed into what he later described as an incredible Hulk, a creature of pure, raw emotion. He smashed his keyboard in a fit of rage, revenge trading on stocks that weren't even on his watch list, violating every single rule he had so carefully crafted. He was no longer trading. He was attacking the market. He had hit his own psychological ejection seat, but instead of escaping danger, he had launched himself straight into financial ruin, incinerating an entire week's worth of profits in a spectacular blaze of self-destruction. Robert's story isn't about a bad strategy or a lack of intelligence. It's a cautionary tale about a psychological battle that 90% of traders lose before they even realize they're fighting it. In this video, we will not just dissect the inner demons that forced Robert to eject from his own success. We are going to arm you with the 15-point psychological checklist used by elite traders, the mental armor and strategic safeguards they use to stay in command of their cockpit day after day. This isn't theory. This is the hard-won wisdom from hundreds of real-world battles documented in Andrew Aziz's Mastering Trading Psychology. If you ignore this, you will likely continue to fly straight into the same storm, with no ejection seat to save you. Section 1, the poker table reality. But here's what most people don't understand about trading. The first, most critical mindset shift you must make is to understand the very nature of the arena you have entered. The truth that 99% of aspiring traders miss is this: you have not chosen a job with a predictable salary, nor have you chosen a traditional investment path. You have chosen a profession that operates exactly like a high-stakes poker game. Picture this. You walk into a new business with a flawless, data-backed plan that guarantees you will be profitable on 60% of your transactions. That sounds like an incredible venture, right? Any CEO would kill for those numbers. But here's the plot twist. The other side of that coin is a mathematical certainty 40% of the time. You are guaranteed to lose money. Not maybe, not possibly, guaranteed. This is the fundamental, non-negotiable reality of trading. The market is not an ATM waiting to dispense cash based on your intelligence. It is a table where your greatest opponent is not another player, but the cold, indifferent laws of probability. A losing trader sits down at this table and, either consciously or subconsciously, tries to win every single hand they are dealt. They see a loss not as a statistical event, but as a personal failure, a sign that their strategy is flawed, that they missed something, or that they simply aren't smart enough. It's like a basketball player expecting to make every single shot, then having an existential crisis every time they miss. This ego-driven need to be right is the root of so much trading destruction. But the professional trader? They've undergone a profound mental transformation. They understand the game. Their job is not to win every hand. That's an impossibility. Their job is to protect their stack of chips, their precious capital, and to only place their bets when the statistical odds are tilted in their favor. They let their proven edge play out over a long series of hands, knowing that the mathematics will eventually work for them. For them, a small controlled loss isn't a failure. It is the ante, the cost of seeing the next card, the the price they must pay to stay in the game long enough for their edge to materialize. They don't just accept loss, they budget for it as a necessary and predictable business expense. This perspective shift is the first and most crucial step in building the psychological foundation of a professional trader. Without it, you are simply a gambler hoping to get lucky. Section 2. The Resilience Test. Now, let me tell you a story that will change how you think about losing forever. Two musicians, two of the most legendary bands in history. The exact same soul-crushing story of being fired at the cusp of greatness. Two drastically different, life-altering outcomes. This isn't just a story about rock and roll. It's a powerful parable about the single most important psychological trait a trader can possess: resilience. In the unforgiving arena of the market, your success is not measured by the height of your winning days. It is forged in the crucible of your losing days. It is defined entirely by your ability to get back up after being knocked down, not just intact, but smarter and more disciplined than before. Picture this scene: New York, 1983. A young, fiercely talented guitarist named Dave Mustaine is unceremoniously kicked out of his band, Metallica. He is not just fired, he is humiliated, put on a 4-day bus ride back to California, while his former bandmates go on to record their debut album and begin their ascent to global stardom. 4 days. Imagine sitting on that Greyhound bus, watching America blur past the window, knowing the guys who just rejected you are about to become rock gods without you. It was a brutal public rejection that would have broken most people. He could have drowned in bitterness, becoming a forgotten what-if story. But something ignited on that long, lonely bus ride. It was a fire fueled by vengeance and ambition. He didn't just want to start another band, he vowed to create a band that was faster, heavier, and more technically brilliant than the one that had cast him aside. From those ashes of rejection, the legendary thrash metal band Megadeth was born. He transformed his pain into a powerful, creative force. Now, rewind to Liverpool, 1962. Pete Best, the handsome, popular drummer for a promising local band called the Beatles, is also told his services are no longer needed. He is replaced by Ringo Starr, right before Beatlemania would erupt and change the world forever. Like Mustaine, Best was faced with a career-defining moment of rejection. But instead of channeling that pain, he was consumed by it. He couldn't escape the shadow of what he had lost. Years of depression, bitterness, and even a suicide attempt followed. He was never able to build something new from the rubble of his past. He was forever trapped in it. Here's why this matters directly to your trading account. The market will fire you every single day. It will hand you losing trades that feel unfair, unjust, and deeply personal. At that critical moment of loss, you face the same choice as Mustaine and Best. You can be Dave Mustaine, take the pain of that loss, dissect it, turn it into objective data, and use it to fuel a more disciplined, more focused approach on the very next trade. You can see the loss not as a final verdict on your worth, but as crucial feedback from the market. Or, you can be Pete Best, you can let that loss define you. You can allow it to create a narrative of failure in your mind, leading to fear, hesitation, and ultimately self-sabotage on all your subsequent trades. The market doesn't care which path you choose, but your entire career depends on it. Section 3. Demon 1, the gravitational pull of averaging down. This brings us to the first demon, and trust me, this one has probably cost traders more money than all the others combined. It is the most intoxicating lie in the world of trading. It's a siren song that has lured countless well-intentioned traders onto the jagged rocks of financial ruin. It doesn't present itself as a gamble. It masquerades as unassailable logic, whispering to you when you are at your most vulnerable, the moment a trade turns against you. Imagine this scenario. Be brutally honest with yourself right now. How many times have you turned a small, manageable loss into a significant one with this exact thought process? You buy a stock at $10, expecting it to climb to $12. Instead, it drops to $8. Your original thesis is now completely invalid. The rational move is to execute your stop loss. But then, the voice starts. Wait, it says, calm and reassuring. This isn't a loss, it's a discount. If you buy more at $8, your average cost drops to just $9. It's the smart move. This is the trap of averaging down. And to be crystal clear, this is not the same as strategically adding to a winning position. That's a professional tactic. This is adding to a losing position out of hope. That's a gambler's fallacy. And it is, without a doubt, the single most efficient and devastating way to destroy a trading account. Andrew Aziz recounts the visceral story of Matt, a trader from the dot-com era. Picture the scene: a trading office buzzing like a casino on steroids. Matt saw a tech stock at an insane, unsustainable level and shorted it, confident in his analysis. When the price ripped higher against him, that seductive voice took over. He doubled down. Then, as the price screamed higher in a ferocious short squeeze, he tripled down, praying for the market to prove him right. He was forced to liquidate for a soul-crushing loss of 25% of his trading capital, evaporated in a single trade. Crazy, right? But you might think, if I just had a bigger account, I could have weathered that. That's the second part of the lie. The book highlights the catastrophic collapse of the multi-billion-dollar hedge fund, Amaranth Advisors, in 2006. A star trader made an enormous bet on natural gas. When the market turned against him, he did exactly what Matt Diddy averaged down. The fund lost $6.6 billion. The fund ceased to exist. The wisdom here is absolute averaging down is not a strategy. It is a gambler's prayer. It replaces a sound plan with hope and ego. Section 4, Demon 2, the FOMO fever. Speaking of wars you can't win, let me take you back to the crypto madness of 2017. Remember the great crypto mania? It felt less like a financial market and more like a global cultural phenomenon. It seemed as if the entire world was getting rich overnight. News headlines screamed of meteoric rises, and social media feeds became a relentless, flashing barrage of rocket emojis and to-the-moon declarations. This wasn't just market enthusiasm, it was a psychological contagion. It was the fear of missing out, or FOMO in its most potent form. It screams that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and if you don't act now, you will be left behind forever. This is the story of Peter, a trader from the book who got swept up in this very fever. He rode the crypto wave masterfully, turning his account into an astonishing $70,000 in profits. He felt invincible. That feeling of invincibility was the seed of his downfall. He began to systematically ignore his own well-established rules. Risk management became an annoying afterthought. His position sizing was no longer dictated by a sound plan, but by pure greed. He was no longer trading a system. He was frantically chasing every small pop, every rumor. And then, the market did what markets always do. It turned. In less than 48 hours, his account suffered a 50,000 hit, wiping out the majority of his profits in a brutal lesson. Let me ask you a direct question. Is your trading plan making your decisions, or is the excited buzz in a chat room making them for you? FOMO turns disciplined traders into desperate gamblers. It makes you chase a stock that has already made its primary move. But the book makes a critical distinction. An opportunity without a plan is not an opportunity at all. It is a liability. The antidote is a simple, 3-part checklist. Before you ever click the buy or sell button, you must be able to instantly and clearly answer. 1. Where is my precise entry point based on my strategy? 2. Where is my realistic profit target? 3. Where is my non-negotiable stop loss? If any one of those 3 components is missing, vague, or based on feeling, then you are not trading. You are suffering from FOMO. The prescription is simple: do not take the trade. Section 5, Demon 3, the revenge trader's blind rage. Now, we come to the demon that's born from the other 2, and this one's personal. This is the demon that emerges from the wreckage. You've just taken a loss. It hurts. But what hurts more is the feeling of being wronged. It feels like the market has personally taken something from you, and a primal, powerful urge rises up: you are going to get it back, right now. This is the perilous descent into revenge trading. You are no longer a calm, objective participant. You are at war. This brings us back to Robert, our incredible Hulk. His spectacular meltdown was a textbook case of revenge trading. After his initial loss, his entire psychological framework shifted. He was no longer analyzing charts or looking for high-probability setups. His mission was no longer to be profitable. His mission was to erase the red from his P&L screen at any cost. This is what professional poker players call on tilt. It is a state of complete emotional chaos, where all logic is jettisoned in favor of pure, blind aggression. And it almost always ends in ruin. The book reveals a critical insight into the trigger for this behavior. The single most toxic number on your screen is your real-time profit and loss, P&L. For an emotional trader, the P&L becomes a real-time scorecard for their self-worth. When it's red, they feel attacked. This personal attachment to the fluctuating dollar amount is the very fuel that powers the revenge demon. The profound wisdom offered is to fundamentally redefine your objective. Your primary job as a trader is not to make money. Your sole mission is to execute your predefined plan flawlessly. Money is simply the byproduct. When you truly internalize this, the emotional power of the P&L begins to fade. A losing trade, if executed according to your plan, is still a procedural success. Section 6, Safeguard. 1. The profit target as a psychological shield. All right, enough about demons. Let's talk about how to defeat them. Now that we have met the demons, averaging down, FOMO, and revenge trading, we can begin to arm ourselves for the fight. These demons are powerful, primal, and they are responsible for the vast majority of blown trading accounts. The critical question is not if you will face them, but how you will defeat them when they inevitably appear. The book provides a series of powerful, practical psychological safeguards, your personal armor in this inner war. The first of these safeguards is one of the most counterintuitive, yet profoundly effective: the discipline to set and religiously honor a daily profit target. Wait, what? I can hear you thinking, limit my profits? That's insane. But hear me out. This isn't about limiting your potential income, it's about protecting your most valuable asset, your psychological capital. Most traders instinctively understand the necessity of a daily maximum loss. It's a clear, logical financial circuit breaker. However, very few apply the same rigorous discipline to their winning days. We've all experienced the paradox. You have a fantastic morning, hitting your profit goal with ease by 10:30 a.m. You feel confident, in sync with the market. The natural impulse is to think, I'm on a hot streak, I should keep going and maximize this day. And yet, so often by 4 p.m., you've not only given back all of your morning profits, but you've also dug yourself into a hole, ending the day in the red, filled with a unique kind of frustration. The invisible enemy decision fatigue. Why does this happen so consistently? The book points to a powerful, unseen enemy decision fatigue. Your brain, just like any muscle, has a finite amount of energy for making high-quality decisions. Trading is one of the most mentally demanding activities on the planet. After dozens of these high-stakes decisions, your cognitive resources become severely depleted. You don't necessarily feel tired, but your ability to exert self-control and make rational choices plummets. Your risk assessment becomes sloppy. Your patience wears thin. You start making rookie mistakes. You become psychologically vulnerable. This is why you must reframe the purpose of a daily profit target. It is not a ceiling on your earnings. It is a psychological safeguard designed to protect you from your own depleted mind. Think of it like a pitch count for a starting pitcher in baseball. The manager pulls them not because they are pitching poorly, but to prevent the catastrophic error that comes with exhaustion. Your daily profit target is your personal pitch count. It's an act of supreme professional discipline, allowing you to walk away a winner, preserve your mental capital, and ensure you return the next day fresh and ready for battle. Section 7, Safeguard 2, your pre-flight checklist. Let me ask you something. Would you trust a pilot who just rolled out of bed and jumped into the cockpit? Of course not. Having a plan to stop trading is crucial, but equally important is having a ritualized, disciplined process for how you start your day. Elite performers in any field, from surgeons to fighter pilots, do not leave their preparation to chance. They follow a strict, repeatable checklist to ensure they are mentally and physically primed. Trading should be no different. The book emphasizes that your trading day doesn't begin when the opening bell rings. It begins the moment you wake up. One of the most compelling stories is from Michael, a professional firefighter who became a trader. His insights are powerful because he draws a direct parallel between entering a burning building and entering the market. He was shocked to find that when he first started trading, clicking the buy button from the safety of his desk gave him a bigger adrenaline rush than walking into a fire. He realized that to succeed, he had to apply the same principles of disciplined preparation from firefighting to his trading. This means creating a non-negotiable morning routine, a pre-flight checklist. It's about preparing your mind and body for peak performance. For Andrew Aziz, this means a 4:30 a.m. run to clear his mind. For you, it could be exercise, meditation, or reviewing your trading rules. The specific activities are less important than the consistency of the ritual itself. The act of following a pre-planned routine every single morning builds a powerful habit of discipline. It tells your brain, it's time to go to work. It's time to be a professional. This pre-market routine is also where you do your strategic planning. You identify your stocks in play, analyze key levels, and formulate potential trade plans. You are doing all of your heavy cognitive lifting when your mind is at its freshest. By the time the opening bell rings, you are not reacting to chaos. You are waiting for the market to come to one of your predefined scenarios. You have transformed yourself from a frantic gambler into a patient sniper. This checklist approach is a profound psychological safeguard that reduces anxiety and prevents impulsive decisions. Section 8, Safeguard 3, Forging Your Flight Manual, the TradeBook. Here's where we separate the professionals from the gamblers. If your morning routine is your pre-flight checklist, then your TradeBook is your aircraft's official flight manual. This is the most powerful, tangible, and strategically critical safeguard you can create. This concept, championed by Andrew Aziz and Mike Baer, is the key to transforming trading from a chaotic, gut-feel art form into a disciplined, repeatable science. Let me be blunt. A strategy is a fuzzy, malleable idea that lives in your head. Like, I like to trade opening range breakouts. It's weak. It's like saying I like to cook Italian food. That's not a recipe. That's a vague preference. Under the pressure of a fast-moving market or the emotional sting of a loss, that fuzzy idea can be bent, broken, or abandoned entirely. A TradeBook, however, is different. It is a physical or digital document, a military-grade operations manual for a single, specific named setup. It is your written constitution, a set of laws designed to be obeyed, not debated, in the heat of battle. It is the ultimate tool for protecting you from your own worst enemy, your impulsive, emotional self. The 4 pillars of a bulletproof TradeBook. A true TradeBook is not just a collection of notes. It has a rigid, non-negotiable structure, broken down into 4 essential components. If any one of these is missing, you do not have a TradeBook. You simply have a wish list. First is selection. This is your ruthless filtering system. It answers the question, what stocks are even worthy of my attention for this specific strategy? It defines the exact criteria, the float range, the minimum price, the required relative volume, and whether the stock needs a specific catalyst, like a major news event. This is not a list of suggestions. It is a list of absolute requirements. A stock either meets every single criterion, or it is immediately discarded. Second is identification. Once a stock has passed your selection filter, this section defines the exact visual pattern you are looking for on the chart. It is your clear, unambiguous signal. What does the 1-minute candlestick formation have to look like? Where must the price be in relation to key levels like the VWAP? What does the order flow on the level 2 screen need to show? This creates a clear go, no-go signal, removing all guesswork. Third is execution. This is your detailed battle plan, written when you are calm and rational. It dictates your precise actions. Where is your entry point? Where is your non-negotiable stop loss? And what are your specific profit targets for scaling out? This is a binding contract you make with your future, emotional self, ensuring your trade management is based on a predefined plan, not on in-the-moment fear or greed. Fourth is consideration. This is the section for your personal, hard-won wisdom. This is where you become your own coach, writing down notes from your trade reviews. It might include reminders like, do not chase, if the entry is more than 10 cents away, or this setup has a higher failure rate on Fridays. The true power of the TradeBook is its function as the ultimate psychological weapon. When you feel the pull of FOMO, you don't fight it with willpower. You check your TradeBook. Does the setup meet your identification criteria? No. Then you don't trade. It systematically dismantles emotional decision-making and replaces it with a cold, logical process. Section 9, The Art of Focus, Trading Only Stocks in Play. Want to know the number 1 mistake that kills new traders? They try to be everywhere at once. Even with a perfect flight manual, a pilot can become dangerously overwhelmed if they try to monitor too many targets. The same is true for a trader. The temptation for a new trader is to watch everything, terrified they might miss the one big move. This attempt to be everywhere at once is a critical mistake. The book makes a powerful case that less is more. One of the most effective safeguards is to ruthlessly narrow your focus, trading only a handful of the best stocks in play each day. A stock in play is not just any stock that is moving. It is a stock that has a fundamental reason for being an outlier on that particular day. It has a powerful catalyst, like an earnings report or major news, that is drawing a massive abnormal amount of volume. This concentrated volume creates cleaner trends and more reliable patterns. Trying to trade a stock that is not in play is like trying to sail a boat with no wind. You're mostly just getting chopped around by random currents. The story of Sihanouk, a trader from the community, perfectly illustrates this. In his early days, he was haunted by the fear of picking the wrong stocks. He found himself frantically switching symbols on his charts, trying to watch everything. The tragic paradox. In his effort to not miss any opportunities, he was actually missing everything. He'd chase setups after it was too late, leading to losses. His breakthrough came when he forced himself to pick just 3 stocks in play before the open and stick with them, no matter what. He accepted that he would miss moves on other stocks. But by focusing his entire mental energy, he began to see those 3 stocks in high definition. He could read their subtle price action and anticipate their moves with far greater accuracy. The wisdom is profound. Your profitability is not determined by how many opportunities you see, but by how well you execute on the handful of high-quality opportunities you choose to focus on. Section 10. The enemy within trading your P&L. I'm about to share the single most important tip for your trading psychology. You can have the right stocks and the right TradeBook, but there is still one number that can derail everything. It is the single most emotionally toxic piece of data in your entire trading setup. It is your real-time profit and loss, P&L. The book argues that one of the most significant leaps a trader can make is to learn to trade the chart, not their P&L. For the amateur trader, the P&L is the center of their universe. It's a constant flashing scorecard of their success or failure. When it's green, they feel a rush of euphoria and greed, often causing them to snatch a small profit too early. When it's red, they feel a wave of fear and panic, leading them to either exit a good trade during a minor pullback or freeze as a small loss grows. In both scenarios, their decisions are not being driven by the objective data on the chart. They are being driven by an emotional reaction to a fluctuating dollar amount. The radical solution that changed everything Sihanouk, the same trader who learned to focus on fewer stocks, identified this as his single biggest enemy. His solution was simple but powerful. He modified his trading platform to completely hide the P&L window during a trade. Out of sight, out of mind. This forced him to rely solely on what mattered: the price action, the key technical levels, the volume, and his predefined plan. By hiding your P&L, you are intentionally blinding yourself to distracting emotional noise. You are forcing yourself to operate like a pilot in the cockpit. A pilot doesn't look at a happiness meter. They look at their altimeter, their airspeed indicator, and their navigation system, the objective data required to fly the plane safely. Your charts are your flight instruments. Your P&L is the emotional passenger screaming in the back. The elite trader learns to tune out that passenger and focus on flying the plane. Section 11. The Know Thyself. Directive finding your aircraft. Time for some tough love. You might be trading the wrong style for your personality. Even with a perfect flight manual, a pilot will fail if they are forced to fly an aircraft that is mismatched with their innate skills. The same is true for a trader. The book highlights a crucial safeguard, the directive to know thyself. You must engage in a deep, honest self-assessment to discover your true trading identity. The book uses the analogy of different military aircraft. Are you by nature a fighter jet pilot or a bomber pilot? The fighter jet pilot, the scalper, thrives on high intensity, split-second decisions, and navigating chaos. Their game is about speed and agility. The bomber pilot, the longer-term day trader, relies on patience, strategic planning, and executing a mission over a steadier path. Their game is about precision and endurance. There is no better style. The only thing that matters is finding the style in perfect alignment with your natural personality. Many new traders fail because they try to copy a style that is fundamentally at odds with who they are, leading to constant stress and poor decisions. Trading against your own psychological grain is like trying to swim up a powerful river. You will eventually exhaust yourself. The goal is to find the river that flows in the same direction as your natural tendencies. Section 12. The Power of Self-Reflection. Your post-flight debrief. What if I told you that 15 minutes at the end of your trading day could 10x your progress? Knowing your true nature as a trader is not a one-time discovery. It is an ongoing process of refinement. This is where the book introduces the powerful habit of daily self-reflection. Just as a fighter pilot engages in a meticulous post-flight debrief, a professional trader must end their day by becoming their own psychologist, dissecting their performance to extract priceless lessons. The book draws on the research of Dr. James Pennebaker, who discovered the profound healing and clarifying power of expressive writing. The act of translating a chaotic emotional experience into a structured narrative allows the brain to organize and learn from it. For a trader, whose day is a constant stream of emotional upheavals, this practice is essential. The questions that will transform your trading. Your daily recap should be a structured inquiry. You must ask yourself tough, honest questions. What was I feeling when I entered that losing trade? Was it greed, fear, impatience? Why did I break my rule and move my stop loss on that trade? What was the one thing I did perfectly today, even if it was just honoring a single stop loss? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about identifying your psychological triggers with the precision of a scientist. Crucially, this process must also focus on your successes. By consciously acknowledging small victories of process, you are actively building true, resilient confidence. The confidence that comes from knowing you are committed to a process of constant improvement. Section 13. The process goal. Focusing on the flight, not the destination. Ready for the mindset shift that separates the pros from everyone else? This is the deliberate move away from focusing on outcomes and toward focusing exclusively on process. Almost every amateur trader enters the market with an outcome-based goal. My goal today is to make $500. The book argues this is psychologically toxic. Why? Because you have no control over whether the market will present you with $500 worth of opportunity. When your self-worth is chained to an outcome you cannot control, you set yourself up for a perpetual emotional roller coaster. Professional traders focus exclusively on process-driven goals. For example, today I will follow my TradeBook rules on every single trade without exception. The beauty of a process goal is that you can achieve it and be successful even on a losing day. This decouples your sense of accomplishment from the randomness of your P&L. The book shares an analogy from Matt G., a trader with 20 years of weightlifting experience. He only started seeing real results when he shifted his focus. His goal wasn't bench press 300 pounds. His new controllable process goal was, this month, I will complete every scheduled workout, executing 3 sets of 8 repetitions with perfect controlled form. The strength and size gains became the inevitable byproduct of a flawlessly executed process. This is the exact mindset of an elite trader. They know that if they focus on perfect execution, the profits will take care of themselves over the long run. When your goal is making back a loss, you are emotionally compromised. When your goal is perfect execution, you are simply responding to what the market gives you with discipline and objectivity. Section 14. The athlete's discipline fueling the pilot. Warning. This section might hurt your feelings, but it could save your trading career. This is the all-encompassing lesson. It comes from the legendary trading coach Dr. Brett Steenbarger, who stated a phrase that should be etched onto every trader's monitor. You cannot be more disciplined in your trading than you are in your life. Your success or failure at the trading screen is not forged in the 90 minutes after the open. It is forged in the other 22.5 hours of your day. Your trading account is simply a mirror, ruthlessly reflecting the sum total of your daily habits. The book powerfully argues that you must stop thinking of yourself as just a trader and start thinking of yourself as a corporate athlete. Your mind is your primary asset, and you must treat its maintenance with the same seriousness that a professional quarterback treats their throwing arm. The uncomfortable truth about your lifestyle. Ask yourself honestly, are you consistently getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep? Are you fueling your brain with clean, nutrient-dense foods, or running on caffeine and sugar? Are you engaging in regular physical exercise? The book shares the story of Federico, a trader whose journey became a total life transformation. He quit alcohol, started exercising, and lost 35 pounds. He realized that to master the discipline required by the market, he first had to master the discipline of his own life. The willpower he summoned to go to the gym when tired was the exact same mental muscle he needed to cut a losing trade when his ego was screaming to hold on. The discipline is transferable. Your life is not separate from your trading. It is the very foundation upon which it is built. Section 15, The Power of Community. Your Wingman. Here's why lone wolves don't survive in trading. No pilot, no matter how skilled, flies into combat alone. They always have a wingman. This final safeguard is about recognizing that despite trading being a solitary activity, long-term success is incredibly difficult to achieve in isolation. The psychological pressures are too immense. The book strongly advocates for the power of a professional trading community, not as a place to get hot stock tips, but as an essential support system. Trading alone is a dangerous echo chamber. When you're winning, there's no one to temper your overconfidence. When you're in a deep drawdown, there's no one to remind you that slumps are normal. A good community shatters that echo chamber. It provides perspective, the reality check you desperately need. Imagine you're having a horrible day, on the verge of revenge trading. You open your community chat and see a veteran trader post "Tough day today. Took 3 stops in a row. See you all tomorrow." Instantly, the feeling of personal failure diminishes. Even the best have losing days. That shared experience is incredibly powerful. However, the book makes a critical distinction. A community is not there for you to blindly follow. A great community does not give you fish. It helps you become a better fisherman. Think of your trading community as your squadron. You all prepare for your individual missions. You fly your own planes, but you are all flying in the same sky, facing the same enemy. Knowing that you have a squadron to return to for your post-flight debrief is an incredible source of strength. You are still the pilot, but you are not flying alone. Your 15-point flight manual. All right, you've been through the battlefield. You've met the demons, and you've been armed with the safeguards. You now have it, the 15-point psychological checklist that separates the pilots from the passengers. So here it is, your 15-point psychological flight manual. 1. Understand. It's a game of probability. 2. Build resilience like a muscle. 3. Never average down. 4. Use the 3-question checklist to kill FOMO. 5. Starve the revenge trader by ignoring your P&L. 6. Honor your daily profit target as a safeguard. 7. Master your morning pre-flight checklist. 8. Forge your unbreakable TradeBook for every strategy. 9. Focus only on a few stocks in play. 10. Physically hide your P&L if you have to. 11. Know your trading style. 12. Conduct a rigorous post-flight debrief every single day. 13. Chase process goals, not outcome goals. 14. Live the disciplined life of an athlete. 15. Find your wingman, never fly solo. You are no longer a passive victim, tossed around by market turbulence. You have the flight manual. You have the checklist. You have the training. The mission is now clear. You are the pilot. Here's your 3-day challenge. If you are serious about taking command, Day 1, choose 1. Psychological safeguard from today's video. Just one. Maybe it's hiding your P&L or creating your first TradeBook. Execute it tomorrow without exception. Day 2. At the end of your trading day, spend exactly 15 minutes on a written self-reflection. Answer, what emotions drove my decisions? What did I do well? What is my one adjustment for tomorrow? Day 3. Share your experience. Find one other trader and tell them about your experiment. Teaching solidifies learning. If you complete this 3-day challenge, you will have done more for your trading psychology than 90% of traders do in a year. Drop a pilot mode on in the comments if you're committing to the 3-day challenge. And if this video opened your eyes, share it with a fellow trader who's still fighting these demons alone. Remember, in the cockpit of trading, there are only 2 seats, pilot and passenger. The market is always flying. The only question is whether you're in command or just along for the ride. Your journey starts now. Take command.